Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between TheLittleOne and Zpux here on Steps of War. As soon as I saw who was playing in these particular matches, I'm like, okay, I have to shoutcast these. These are gonna be great games. So we have Zpux spawning as the yellow Zerg versus TheLittleOne spawning as the red Protoss. Now TheLittleOne decided not to go random, I believe, in this particular matchup. Always choosing Pross in the set of games that I have. I don't know how many games it's out of, so I'm not going to say if it's best out of 3, best out of 5. I'm just going to be casting every single game that I have, and then from there I'll figure out what exactly is happening. TheLittleOne now moving out with this probe a little bit earlier than normal. We'll see what he's going to try to do. It looks like he's going to try to do a front door seal with a pylon over here on this very wide ramp. Yeah, this very wide ramp, so we'll see how that works, what exactly TheLittleOne is in fact trying to do. Probably going to be dropping a gateway over here, and then perhaps even a forge right here. So that way the Zerglings have to run all the way around in order to really get in. No, sorry, getting the gateway down here. So a little bit exposing that pylon just a little bit. That's a little bit strange, as Zerglings will be able to come in there. Drones and probes getting a little bit of action in on the middle of the field, and now both players just coming back together. We'll take a look. Zpux already getting a very early spawning pool. This was a 10 pool. It looks like a 10 pool. So with a 10 pool, those Zerglings will be coming out much more quickly, and because of Steps of War and the minimal traveling distance between the between these locations, it will really affect the game a lot. Already getting the second pylon warping in. That pylon being warped in a little bit of a strange position in that it's not supplying power to TheLittleOne's second or this primary gateway. So this first gateway that's being warped in, if one pylon goes down, we'll in fact lose it, or lose energy to it, and not be able to warp in any additional units. Zealot already getting a chrono boost in order to produce those units much more quickly. Spawning pool now going to be up and running, and we'll see how many Zerglings he does in fact create. Going already for 8 or 6 sets of Zerglings, and building, or sorry, 4 or 2 Zerglings and a Queen, sorry. And should just look at that production a little bit more. Back over here, TheLittleOne still only operating off of 1 gateway, only 2 pylons by TheLittleOne, no pylons in the base. So with no pylons in the base, that most likely means that there is not going to be any sort of hidden tech coming in. Zerglings and a Zealot now coming in a little bit of engagement, getting 1 round of attack on that Zergling. Zergling down to 15 hit points. And now in come this drone. Are they going to be able to take down that drone? No, not able to take down that drone either, as those units once again are in full retreat. We have TheLittleOne perhaps trying to set up some sort of fast expansion. Yes. So TheLittleOne trying to set up a fast expansion at his natural, and a single Zealot and a single probe, just trying to make sure that no hatchery comes down by Zpux. Zpux wanting to get that economic advantage. We'll see how that works out. We already have a Roach Warren down, and as a single Queen able to take down that probe with really no issue. So Zpux with that single Queen getting some Zerglings as well, and now getting that Roach Warren. We'll see how that works. Nexus is already being warped in, and now we have a Forge being warped in as well. So with those Zealots sitting here, perhaps we'll see a photon cannon here. Wow, this is a very tight choke point now. So Zerglings will only be able to sneak through here, not going to be able to sneak through here either. And now with that second pylon, or third pylon now being warped in, not exactly sure how this is all going to work out. And now a photon cannon being warped in as well. So photon cannon being warped in, no weapons upgrade yet, no gas, or sorry, no gas up and running yet. So that Vespene Geyser, excuse me, it does not have any probes on it at this time, or at this stage in the game. Now going to go ahead and transfer some of those probes over, start trying to mine that gas. 2 probes perhaps going to be pushed out back over here, and now we have Zealots trying to do a little bit of engagement on those Zerglings. There are a fair number of Zerglings though, so those Zerglings may be able to get a surround off and take down those Zealots if he's not careful. Zerglings, however, able to move much more quickly, so there is going to be I guess a push through this front door. No, Zerglings now trying to come back up, as these Zealots perhaps going to try to make a run into the main base. We already have Queens and some Zerglings and some Roaches already here, so those 3 Zealots of TheLittleOne quickly going to get surrounded and taken down. So Zpux able to just dispatch that army so easily. Zpux sitting at a 575 army compared to TheLittleOne's 0, so he has nothing else except for a Harvester, so has a ton of Harvester count, and we'll see how that's going to work out for him. More photon cannons being warped in. Zerglings trying to come in. That one Zealot being pushed on that backside. Will he be able to sneak on through between these cannons? I'm not sure. One Zergling quickly getting taken down. 2 more photon cannons being warped in. This one Zealot is in a little bit of a strange situation. I don't think he can actually make it out on the other side of this wall. Perhaps there's a little bit of enough room there. Now in come these Roaches, and now in comes despite the Zealot, yeah, unable to really do any sort of engagement, is in a bad position. In come these photon cannons. Photon cannons trying to push through as these units continue to try to push through. Roaches now being able to run past and do a run by and perhaps take down some of these probes. Back over here, another photon cannon being warped in as these roaches do a little bit of an engagement. This zealot down to 17 hit points or 27 hit points may continue to get fired as those probes trying to zap away at that roach. That one roach able to much more easily taken down now that it only has 1 armor off of that recent patch. 1 zealot now being built on the other side. So those units will in fact be able, those zealots will be deployed to the battlefield. However, those Zerglings now going to be trying to destroy these destructible rocks. And these destructible rocks, that's going to be an issue as those units will be able to just do a quick run by. Zerglings able to destroy those destructible rocks. Only one Zergling getting hit now as those roaches now trying to come in and do a little bit more damage as well. That photon cannon is not able to see onto that high ground, but he does in fact know that those destructible rocks are getting hit. Back over here, we have a zealot trying to run and not going to really be able to do that much. Cybernetics Core now being warped in. Forge weapon upgrade trying to be researched as well, so it's going to be a matter of time before that back door is completed. Another gateway being placed down in order to wall off as well, so a very, very strong wall in. A second or third gateway now being placed down as more pylons coming in and quickly taking down one of those Zerglings. So one zealot on the wrong side of these buildings may get quickly taken down once again. Roach is trying to push back in. Perhaps they'll be able to shoot down that photon cannon. Chrono boost on a Stalker, so that Stalker trying to be warped in as well. And now we're going for a 5-gate strategy. So 5 warp gates now being, or gateways now being warped in. Chrono boost being used once again to cut down the build time on that Stalker, reducing it to a 32 build time. Now in comes the Stalker. Stalker wants to get this Overlord out of the base, going to start attacking it, and then may be able to take it down in time. The Overlord is in fact moving very slowly. That Stalker should probably do a little bit of move and attack, and then just get in position, just get right underneath it, and be able to take it down. Overlord will get taken down. 9 hit points. There it goes. Currently sitting on 5 gateways. The 6th gateway now being built as well. Weapons upgrade. So LittleOne going for a very, very expansion happy multiple gateway, almost an all-in strategy. This one pylon here most likely will be destroyed by the LittleOne, as that one pylon is really the whole entire choke point right there on this whole entire army and this fight. Zpux, however, trying to get his economic advantage, trying to come back. Already 10 minutes, only, 7 minutes into this game, and they're both mining with almost 50 harvesters and 35. So both of them playing a very, very macro-intensive game at this stage. Now back over here, LittleOne essentially just mining out and saturating this natural, and still mining out over here at his mains fairly effectively. Currently warping off of 5 gateways, so 5 gateways now being warped in, or warping in additional buildings, and more gateways back over here. So this is almost a 7-gate strategy, and out come these zealots. I do not see a Twilight Council, however, but the weapons upgrade has been completed, so we'll see how these units are in fact going to work out. A single Zergling sitting over here for some reason was not taken down. Another pylon being placed down, so this is more of an all-in strategy, as those units will be able to reinforce very, very quickly. Only a single Spine Crawler. Spine Crawlers dealing 25 base damage and 30 damage to armored units are in fact very strong at this stage. We'll see if any force fields, a couple of force fields coming into position, not great use, as those roaches are still able to get in a couple of hits. Spine Crawler able to get in a couple of hits as well. Those roaches pretty much protected by those force fields, as zealots are unable to get within melee range of those units. Roaches continue to push through. Stalkers are continuing to fight back, and now Roach from that backside also coming in. However, this proxy pylon may enable him to get more and more units worked back in. So yeah, more units continuing to be worked in. Stalkers now coming in as well, trying to do focus fire and quickly taking down that Spy Crawler, and now once again re-engaging. However, Zpux now is currently operating off of 2 bases, will be able to get up to 3 as soon as the main, or as soon as he transfers some of those drones over. Nice, once again, force fields coming in, not that well placed, and finally the Roach is being forced to push back, and now a good use of force field on that choke point, on that ramp. No additional reinforcements, more units being warped in from that back. LittleOne doing a great job continuing to produce out and mass out Stalkers at this stage. More zealots being warped in as well. 1-1 upgrades on these units, and just doing a very nice job trying to take down these units. More Spine Crawlers being warped in, but I believe Zpux is going to lose this game. Drones now coming off the mineral line, trying to engage these zealots, but it's not going to work. Force field now coming in, but those 2 force fields not going to be very well done, and Zpux says, well played. GG. thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Stay tuned for Game 2 in this matchup between Zpux and TheLittleOne.